Welcome back to the Comic Book Savant YouTube channel. I'm your host, James Harris. This episode, we're going to be doing a comic review. I'm going to be doing a review on Darth Vader, Lord of the Sith, Volume 2, Legacy's End. I did a review on Volume 1 that you should be able to see here on the first volume. It's a really great book. This is written by Soule. He's doing a phenomenal job picking up where he left off in Volume 1 in this second volume. The main storyline is that he's tasked with searching or seeking out a particular Jedi, and is Costa Nu, which is a very interesting storyline to follow in this volume, because she was a character we were exposed to in the movies. She was actually the librarian, I guess, for the Jedi Archives, and we saw her just in flashes, I think in maybe episode 1 and episode 2 for sure. Maybe even episode 1, it was like a side character, but it was really cool to see the character fleshed out and seeing this interaction and how important she really was. Again, a throwaway character we might have saw within the movies get so much more depth and being fleshed out in this storyline. And Soule really nails it. He's not just done this Darth Vader book; he's done a few limited run books. He did one with Obi-Wan and Anakin that was really exceptional as well. So he really has a pulse on the Star Wars universe and the different cast of characters, and he does a really good job. We have artwork by Giuseppe. I hope I pronounced this correctly. Giuseppe Camuncoli. He worked on the first volume. His artwork remains to be steady. He does great work with the action scenes in this book, and we get a little bit more background of what's going on at this particular time. Because again, with this Darth Vader book, where the Carrie Gilliam books actually pick up after A New Hope, this Lord of the Sith book picks up directly after episode 3. So this is Vader really in his prime. So we have different aspects that we've been exposed to. If you haven't ever watched Star Wars Rebels, we were introduced to a group called the Inquisitors that were created by the Emperor to hunt down Jedi. Some were actually former Jedis. So now Vader is tasked with running this order of Inquisitors, and he's not really, fond about it. So it's interesting seeing this aspect, because we only had seen this before in Star Wars Rebels, seeing it, and that is canon, though that show is canon, but to actually see it in the comic. And it's really good if you're a Star Wars fan. I think some people haven't really kept up with all the different comics, and it just depends, because it is between the movies, the animated series. Now we have, in the books, and now all the different comic series. It's a lot to keep up with. I have to say, not all of the different Star Wars books are really worth picking up. The main Star Wars book is exceptional. These two different Darth Vader runs have been really, really good, and it's been a few limited run stories that also have came out that were really good. So you kind of have to pick and choose, and at some point I might do a recommended reads on what Star Wars stories to check out. But I do have I'll list I'll put down in the description box below, or I will put right here a playlist of different Star Wars comic reviews that I've done, because I've reviewed quite a few at this point. So I'll make sure to list those for you guys to check out. But this particular volume was really good. And another thing that I like about Soule, even in the Obi-Wan Anakin story, he does a really good job in exploring the interesting weird relationship between Darth Vader / Anakin and the Emperor. Is a very fascinating relationship to see mature with the games, the one-upsmanship and the games, the mind games that the Emperor is currently playing with Vader, testing him constantly and pushing him in the ways of the Sith, in ways that at times Vader is not particularly fond of. And seeing him again, he's newly minted as Vader. Like I said, this book picks up like directly when he's first being put in a Darth Vader armor. So this is him really coming to grips as being Vader and coming into his own as a Sith Lord. So it's definitely a really good read, and it really gets into his head and the space and to see how the Sith work, because we don't really get through the movies, get a really deep dive into it. So this book does a great job and playing with that dynamic and showing it to you front and center. But that's all I can really say about this book. If I had to, give it a rating on a 10-point scale, I would give it a 9 out of 10. They just keep improving and improving. Charles Soule is becoming one of my, next to Jason Aaron and Kieran Gillian, has to be one of my favorite Star Wars writers that they have working on these books currently. He's really knocking it out the park, and he's just getting better and better. This series has already come to an end. I think it went 25 issues, the same as the Kieran Gillian book did. That book has been collected in an omnibus. I think they just recently solicited this series in an omnibus. If I can find links to it, I'll put them down below, down in the description box. So if you want to see about pre-ordering that, I'll put links down below to help you find it, or I'll put links to the individual trades of the series, because I think it's collected in 4 trades, and it's going to be the one omnibus that has the whole run of. That's all I have for you guys for this comic review. Again, I give it a 9 out of 10. Highly recommend it. 2 thumbs up all the way. This Darth Vader book rocks. Also, if you do like the comic reviews that I'm doing here on the channel, and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Also, smash the thumbs up button if you like the content. And also, if you haven't, click the little bell notification down below so you're notified every time new content is dropped on the channel. That's all I have for you guys for this episode. I'm your host, James Harris. This is the Comic Book Savant YouTube channel, and you guys have a good week, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.